We are live. Hello again, and welcome to another episode of the Fun Fans Podcast. I'm your host, James Diller. With me, as always, my co-host, Coach Bailey Jackson. How you doing, Bailey?
I'm good. Happy Sunday, everybody.
Happy Sunday. It's a little better than some other Sundays we've had recently, in addition to a very good slate of football games that we're going to talk about today. The Tigers brought home a dub from Chapel Hill. We'll talk sunshine in Southern California. And who is really the best football team right now, and there may even be a rant coming. But first, the Fun Fans are a proud part of Greenville Sports Media's podcasting network. If you're a true sports fan, Greenville Sports Media is perfect for you. Find various nationwide podcasts, the latest articles, and other sports media at greenvillesportsmedia.com, who can also be found on all forms of social media, just like the Fun Fans. The Fun Fans Podcast is the official podcast for Clemson fans.
Yep, and get your official wings for football season at Reuben's Foods, Sports, Spirits, and Catering. Definitely the best wings around. There are 2 locations in the upstate. 1083 Batesville, Revin, 028 Anderson Road in Piedmont. Website is ReubensC.com. Reuben's is simply a great place to eat for all sports fans.
All right, this is awesome. I don't know what happened, but for some reason my script has a pink background. It may have something to do with the editing or whatever we were just doing just before the show, but maybe that's in honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Month, which we are in the midst of here in October. But so just like we always do, we're going to talk through the fun we had yesterday as college football fans. I'll go first, of course. I've loaded up a fair number of pictures, and I'll try to go in chronological order here. Let's see. So before the noon game, the Clemson game, we made some buffalo chicken sliders. And what we found was, I don't know what's so special about these. So the Hawaiian rolls, you can see if you look close there, you can see it's the Hawaiian roll brand. But they had, instead of having to cut the rolls, because that's the go-to, right? Hawaiian rolls, that's the go-to slider.
Yeah, they provide a little sweetness to them.
Yeah. So they have, and I don't know if you may have known this, they have little slider buns, Hawaiian.
Yeah.
Okay, so we didn't know that. So we took advantage of the Hawaiian slider buns and watched the Clemson game at noon kickoff here at the house. And then as the day went on, here was my setup for the 3:30 game. Similar to last time, when we're at home, you can't get but so many screens on a screen.
Right.
And there's a lot of games going on. So that's the TV that we use at the tailgate. And then make sure I'm not missing anything. As the evening rolled around, I tried to make smash burgers on the grill. So they look like little football shapes. So that was not intended.
On the grill or on the griddle?
On the griddle, on the black stone there.
Do you have a weight?
I do. And I'm smashing them. So they're kind of small, but they didn't get as small as they didn't get as thin as I think they were supposed to. And you can see they're not round at all.
Did you start with them in a ball?
Well, see, so here's what we tried to be smart. Okay, we outsmarted ourselves. By we, I mean my daughter Jillian was helping me. We don't like pattying out burgers. We're lazy. Mm-hmm. So we buy the already patted out burgers. So our idea was we take the already patted out burger, mm-hmm, and we cut it in half, and then we can kind of round each half. Yeah. So what happened was little footballish shape, which I mean, it fits the.
It's a good theme.
It fits the theme.
If you could find a football shaped bun.
So yes. And then when they drew up, we were thinking, 2 patties per burger. We ended up we put 3 on a bad boy. Now, look, so this is the finished product, and, it tasted, it was on point.
Right.
It was a good burger now. Don't get me wrong.
Let me ask you another question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Did you get some wax paper or some parchment paper?
To do the squishing?
Yeah.
No, I just squished them on the grill with the thing.
Okay, well, you could have taken that regular patty and you put that parchment paper or wax paper on top of it, and you take that weight and you push that thing down, and it's a perfectly circular, flat, thin smash burger.
So we thought about that, but the assumption was that it would have ended up being like a Whopper size thin patty. It would have been too big.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, okay. But the best thing to do is ball it up.
Yeah. So next time
you'll know.
Yeah, next time we'll know. The already patted out patties for the trying to do something. You just got to leave those alone. We'll have to just patty them out if we want to do that. And honestly, on the griddle, that's about the only way to go. It's hard to, well, it's not hard, but it's easier just to let something thin kind of cook through. But look at this picture, Bailey. You see the corn item on the back of the plate there?
Yeah, I think so. It's I have a split screen here, so it's very small. But
all right. So Jillian found a recipe called corn ribs. And you took the little corn on the cob and she quartered it up and then put whatever seasoning or whatever was in the recipe. And those things were on point. That might have been the best corn item I'd had in a while. And then this is the setup outside. I just shifted the TV out to we got a very small patio, but so we were
chilling.
A nice
night.
Yeah. The weather was great and watched all the games. Or at least all the ones that we wanted to watch. Did you do anything special? I know you didn't get in the pool.
No, pool's closed. But I did clean up my garage all day. That's unfortunately that's what it took.
Oh, wow.
But I had my projector set up in the garage. I connected some outdoor speakers and had surround sound. So I watched Clemson. I watched Vandy in Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of turned back and forth, and then later on I watched some of the Miami Florida State game, but that got out of hand. And then actually took a little nap and caught some of the Duke California game that kicked off at 10:30 p.m. Eastern time. So I watched more football yesterday than I have all year.
There you go. That's a good thing. And that's a point that we
and Texas and Florida were on another TV. So
Texas and Florida. And we're going to talk about the games here in a minute, but Bailey definitely took advantage of something we talked about on the show when it comes to those West Coast games that you just need to take a nap.
Yeah. You have to.
And you can get them in. All right. Speaking of what we talk about on this show, we'll get to the games in a minute. We've got to go back because we've talked about the field storming on this show multiple times before. And last week, if you missed last week's show, we had a special guest. Got to go back and check it out. It's pretty cool. But we didn't have a lot of time to talk about football stuff, specific football stuff. We talked about marketing and, what this gentleman does, Neil does with his company in sports marketing and
a lot of numbers.
Sports research stuff. It was pretty cool. But we didn't get a chance to talk about field storming, and there was probably the most dangerous field storming episode, not this past Friday night, but the Friday of last weekend when Virginia upset Florida State at their place. And, we talk about the field storming. We've talked about that before on here multiple times, so we got to talk about it. So, Bailey, I know you've seen it. I know you've seen the videos. I don't know if you're watching the game, but I know what you were thinking. But tell the folks what I know you were thinking.
Well, I think it's the most dangerous situation you could ever. It's a liability. It's a lawsuit waiting to happen. It's a fight between a player and a fan that just turns ugly. And you know what? It's not needed. But I will say this. You're talking about a place that is not familiar with storming a field. Ever.
Yeah. All right. Now that said, this is if you're on audio only, you're missing it, but you've probably seen it before. I got a picture up here that shows how there's no barrier. It wasn't a little wall to jump over, a fence, a gate. I mean, there was nothing. They call, what would be like the hill in Clemson, out the back of the end zone area. I think they call that the yard at their stadium. And it's just a slightly angled grassy area. The students gather. And you can see here, I mean, when that clock struck zero, when that kid intercepted the ball or whatever happened at the end there, they just came. There was no, 2 seconds delay.
Matter of fact, it looks like the security guard ran and took cover.
They're already past
security.
Yeah, they're past security. So this was this will be the one, and I hadn't heard any. There were some injuries. My understanding where there were 7 or 8 players, not players, there were fans. I think all the players were fine. So let me get that. This poor Florida State player right here got stampeded, but my understanding is he was fine. But there were 7 or 8 fans that had to be tended to after that field storm, and that's probably going to make next year's rule even more stringent.
Look, I'm not joking around. Somebody could be seriously injured or even killed.
Correct.
Being trampled.
Yeah. It's
ridiculous.
It's gotten out of hand, and I don't want to point fingers and be some old guy and say, when we stormed the field when I was young, we stormed the field, but we didn't like do what these folks do. But if we did, there were definitely not cameras and social media out there to catch every finger bird being shot and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But now on the other end of the spectrum, Bailey, and we'll talk about the games here in just a second. UCLA had a huge upset yesterday over Penn State.
How about
here's a picture of their field storming.
Yeah, because there were 12 people there.
Yeah.
But actually, there were probably more people there than that. But
yeah,
that place is so big.
Yeah,
there were probably 40,000 people there, and a third of them were from Penn State.
Kind of just kidding. All right, but speaking of, all right, Coach Neuheisel. Now this is young New. Am I saying it right?
Yes.
Neuheisel. They pulled up. Did you watch any of that game?
I did. Yes.
I mean, I couldn't turn it. Once I saw the score, I couldn't turn it away.
Don't you love the underdogs unless they're beating your team?
Right. Exactly. All of a sudden, everybody in the country, except for Penn State fans, were UCLA Bruin fans, and I mean, they were playing ball. It wasn't.
They tried to give it away at the end.
They did.
Why would you run a toss sweep way down there, and it almost was disastrous.
But they were not. It wasn't a case of Penn State came out and got a punt blocked and fumbled and had 7 turnover. It was not. Penn State came and was playing ball, and UCLA showed up and balled out, and just out of the blue, 0-4, fired the coach, and this Neuheisel, this situation. I like listening to his dad, former head coach at UCLA, right?
Yeah.
He's the current offense coordinator. I listened to his dad on some sports talk radio. And
he's on the CBS
yes,
pre and post game, and he's
pretty good.
His kid was he's not the offensive coordinator. He was the designated play caller yesterday. Now he may get promoted, but he looks like he's about 13.
Yep. But he was. My family was saying that he looks like the guy. What's that movie? The guy in the football movie. He's Sunshine. I'm like, yeah, Sunshine.
But he was the quarterback, the backup quarterback who played when the last time they beat a top 10 opponent when his dad was the coach.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that picture.
And he actually was forced into action that day.
It's a pretty cool story. And even though the first thing I noticed, it looked like he was only wearing the headsets to keep his hair out of his face. So anyway, congratulations to the.
I don't really have that same problem.
Yeah, we don't have that problem. All right, so to our game, the Tigers. Speaking of balling out, I'm wondering. This is me. I don't know what other people wonder. You go through. I'm always wondering what the first play is going to be, and it's kind of like coming out of an open, and if you coming off a loss, those scenarios, in my opinion, make that first play even more important. And I was crunk, for lack of a better word. I don't care if it would have been, even if it would not have been successful. That would have been what I would have called that first play that Clemson ran.
Well, and you see the benefit of having Antonio Williams back.
Yep.
I mean, and that was a mismatch. Even the pregame prognosticators couldn't even say North Carolina had a chance because they basically have very little talent on their roster.
Right. Yeah, and Antonio actually looked. He's been back, but he's looked not 100%. I guess is the best way to put it.
Well, playing North Carolina will maybe help you look better.
Well, this
And
is true.
look, that's the second game in a row thrown for almost 400 yards. It's the first time since whenever. Cade Klubnik is responsible for more touchdowns in his Clemson career than Travis Etienne. He has more passing attempts than Trevor Lawrence. So when he plays like that, he's fine. Like 22 out of 24.
Yeah. You know what it reminds me of? So we came on here a month ago after we lost to LSU, and we said the same thing we said a year ago after we lost to Georgia, and we both said if we played like that the rest of the season, we're going to win the rest of our games, we're going to make it to the playoffs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then last year, App State comes to town, and you said on the show, it don't matter. It don't matter. You got to be a good quarterback to be whatever Cade was that night, 22 for 24, 3 or 4.
I don't care if you had throwing it on air.
Yeah. So that looked like that finally happened Saturday. I guess the only problem is there were a couple other games in the middle, and I don't care. A lot of people have been saying like what you said. It's not wrong. It's not that North Carolina is not a good team. They're obviously not a good team, but we did what a really good team would do to not a good team.
Booger McFarland said it on air yesterday when they were going over the highlights, which was brief. He said they could have scored 70.
Yeah,
and Dabo called the dogs off.
Yes. We did. It wasn't like we only won because North Carolina's bad. We went out and played.
We went out and punched them in the mouth, and when they tried to get up, we punched them again.
Yep.
And we looked at them and said, "You need to stay down there now."
Now this is my only issue. Do you think, because one of the commentators on College Football Final made the comment that when you know you're going up against an inferior opponent, you're going to call plays like that. You're going to stretch the field. You're going to do the pass. And I'm not saying he's wrong. That's what it may look like Clemson has done. But if that's been the philosophy, I think that's probably one of our problems. Do you think we are conservative going into the game based on how good we think the opponent is?
No, I mean, I think they had an off week, and they said, we need to start this thing with a bang. And that maybe they saw something on film where when they get a bubble screen, they come up so hard to make those tackles, they're just not disciplined. Because, you kind of fake the block and then you release down the field.
Right.
Well, it's just.
Well, that's what Dabo said.
I can remember watching film when I was coaching or when I was an AD and I was sitting with our head coach and I said, you know what? When we run that jet, when that team runs that jet sweep motion, that safety rolls up hard and they roll back to cover 3 look. And I said, what if we ran the jet sweep motion and then threw a pop pass right to the guy where the safety just vacated?
Right.
And he took it about 85 yards for a touchdown.
Well, yeah, Dabo said they saw something on film. Yeah. I hope we're not being conservative. I hope we're not basing you base your game plan on some strength, some level of strength and weaknesses of the opponent, but you don't lower your standards of what you think your team can do based on who you're playing. You have to expect, in my opinion, the players are going to go out there and play, and you got to have the attitude that we're good enough to execute our plays.
You know how it is. You sit in there and you watch film and you meet as a staff and you go, okay, what do you think? What do you think? And I think we can run the ball at the left side of their defensive line. And I think we can throw this passing game or that passing game,
And probably against them, they can do about whatever.
Yeah. And I think once you throw it to a tight end, underthrown ball to a tight end, and he still scores because he was wide open.
Yeah.
Like you're taking advantage of the opponent, which is okay.
Poor tackling for sure. Yeah. So Clemson got it done early and fast, kind of like Ludacris. Did you hear that they had Ludacris scheduled to perform before the Clemson game, before they knew it was a noon kickoff? So suddenly he is talking about how he has never done a 9 a.m. show, but he did one. He did one Saturday.
Yeah, and even the ESPN guys were commenting that the announcers were going to get a raise. They were working hard today, and they were joking around about it. If you heard them, they were like, "Yeah, man, this has been over for a while. We're trying to fill up some space."
Yeah, they had to work it out. Plenty of Belichick stuff to talk about, and we could talk forever about. I mean, when they hired Belichick, everybody thought, North Carolina's going to be good. And it is the exact opposite. But that's for some Tar Heel podcast. All right, we'll go through the other games real quick. You brought up Miami, Florida State. That was a good game. Miami is legit. Sorry, not sorry. They're the deal. If they're not, number one or number two, when I ain't worried about the AP and all that kind of stuff but if they keep doing what they're doing, when the committee puts out their first list based on the people they played, et cetera, if they're not number one team in the country, something's not right.
Well, Ohio State's pretty good too.
Right. And their resume got not so good with Texas loss this past Saturday.
Yeah, but let's look at those two teams briefly. Spend it and they will come.
Right.
That's what's I mean, it's ridiculous, man.
It's kind of
ridiculous. Coaches don't have to build programs now. They have to pay people.
Yeah, I'm ready to split leagues. And personally, I would rather be in the old-fashioned league where there's, kids get some money. That's one thing, but a lot of caps, a lot of max salaries and stuff. But we're gonna run out of time. What about Bama? You said you watched Bama and Vandy. That one was really close the first half.
I was pulling for Vanderbilt,
right?
But Bama's good too.
Is Bama back? How did they get drugged by Florida State?
Well, I'm just telling you, they're not as good as they used to be, but they're getting close.
Was that just the first week of the season blues or whatever you want to?
Look.
Right? Yeah. Just
how do you know they don't get a scrimmage? They should be able to scrimmage.
They didn't think they needed to show up, I believe, based on Florida State's last year's schedule or something. But they're a pretty doggone good team now for sure. Notre Dame over Boise, and I only point that out because they've got 2 losses, and they'll be the only 2-loss team, and they'll be in the top 15 now.
Yeah.
And a week later, they'll be in the top 12, and
bet on it.
Next thing you know, they'll be in the top 10 again. So whatever. Virginia keeps on rolling. Took overtime. They beat Louisville. Are they good, or are they just kind of squeaking by?
Pretty good, man.
Yeah. I think they're pretty good. And they're consistent.
It's good.
I think Virginia's doing what we haven't been doing. They're consistent. They execute well. Not a lot of mistakes. And I think they're a pretty good team.
When were we the most consistent?
When
that guy that's the coach there was on staff at Clemson.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Coach in waiting. He just happens to be coaching at Virginia right now.
All right. And I have the text message to prove it if anybody out there don't believe me, but I predicted that Florida would beat Texas. I sent a text to a group of friends, and a couple of them might put $1 or $2 on a game, and I said Florida plus 6.5 is a lock. And I said not only are they going to cover, they are going to win, and they did it.
And Billy Napier they do just enough to save his job every year.
He's back. It's funny how some teams are and programs are, I don't want to say predictable, but they
got their quarterback back. That helped tremendously.
There's a pattern and see, talking about Miami, recent history, Miami is up here until the end of the season.
They might fizzle.
They would have been in the playoffs last year if they hadn't lost to Syracuse. Didn't even make it to the ACC championship game. But yeah, that was funny. But Florida looked good. I mean, Florida, and listen, in my opinion, Manning, he hasn't played well, but I think he played well yesterday. I mean, he had some moments where he looked.
Texas defense that got hammered yesterday.
Wow, yeah, they got the ball ran all over them pretty much. But good job, Gators. Good job, Billy. Thank you for upholding my underdog pick. And it looks like you typed in Duke in California because you stayed up and watched it.
Well, no, because Duke is now tied for first in the ACC, and evidently I mean, it was 28-21 when I was watching it, and then they scored 17 more points. So Duke must be all right.
They must, and we got to play them. That's homecoming for us.
Yeah.
Coming up. So very good. And of course, we always mention our friends in Columbia, and they had the week off. All right. Due to time constraints, I'm going to skip to the scandal. All right. Clemson's going to be on the road next Saturday against Boston College. That kickoff time is 7:30. A couple other big matchups in the Big Ten. But let me get to this real quick. Headline. See this picture right here? Scandal. Yeah. A cheating scandal rocks the World Stone Skimming Champions. The World Stone Skimming Championships have been rocked by a cheating scandal after several competitors were disqualified for tampering. All right, they're tampering with the stones. Okay. More than 2,200 people from 27 countries attended this year's event on the tiny island of Easdale off the west coast of Scotland. Rules state that stones must come from naturally occurring island slate. However, some were found to have been ground into a suspiciously circular shape to help them bounce on water. Organizer Dr. Kyle Matthews told BBC News that the offenders had held their hands up and apologized. That's nice of them. Entrants choose their own stones, and judges use a measuring device. That's the picture you're looking at now. This is the ring of truth, Bailey. You see that?
Yeah, I'm flabbergasted.
It's the ring of truth for the World Stone Skimming Championship in Scotland. It reminds me of the Wonder Woman rope, right? But Dr. Matthews, who is also known as the Toss Master, told BBC that judges heard rumors and murmurings of the nefarious deeds.
Nefarious.
There was a little bit of doctoring. They had shaped it so perfectly that it fitted in 3-inch measure. It's a piece of metal. All right. So anyway, problem was they just couldn't notice that time. All that is from BBC.com. And, you know, there's scandals all in sports nowadays. And some people
all levels. I wonder if they get any NIL to skip stones.
Some people will just do whatever it takes to win. All right. Speaking of winning, you're winning if you're listening to this show. We appreciate you joining this evening. Hope you enjoyed the show. Takes on Boston College up in the Northeast. Thanks again for checking us out. Don't forget to click subscribe on the Fun Fans Podcast YouTube channel, as well as your favorite podcast platform. Follow us on all social media, and please share on behalf of the Fun Fans Podcast, Jay Thriller Entertainment, Greenville Sports Media, and Bailey Jackson.
Tigers are going for, I think, 13 in a row against Boston College. Let's get it.
And they're bad too, right? They're like
awful.
They're not good.
You want to get it doesn't take long to get better.
Here we go. Well, maybe that's just what we need. Go Tigers.